free. This is a limited time offer, so don't waste any time to protect both you and your pets.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the PM Show with the one and only Fred Dryer. Once again, here's Fred.
Thank you so much, Mike Horn. It's good to see you back off the hay pile. Glad that you're with us up here in the.
I had to clean up the hay pile, and they charged me up the wazoo in sanitation fees for throwing out the hay.
That's more.
I was very upset about that.
That's more contracting stuff. We'll get into it later on.
Thank you.
But I want to talk to you folks about something right now that's very, very important. This is the election season, and the other day I was sitting back at my house in the backyard contemplating many things, and one of them was, here's the question I want to ask you folks. What was the state of mind? Hopefully we're out of that state of mind right now, but what was the state of mind of America to not question, think to ask Barry Soweto, it's the guy that's in our White House, what he meant when he said he was going to systematically transform America.
That's when he came into office, right? He was talking about...
It was his campaign.
Right, the campaign.
That's what he said. And he said that early in his campaign. He said it several different times. Ladies and gentlemen, we all remember what he said. And it wasn't that long ago. It was 3 years ago. We're now getting into 6 months left. 6 months left to come up with the guts to start thinking for ourselves. Now, we're 6 months away from the presidential election. Now, that's November 6, 2012. Now, that will be the day that this country expresses itself at the ballot box. It either takes the opportunity then, November 6, 2012, to correct this disastrous mistake, or continue perpetrate this hideous nightmare for another 4 years. But it's not just 4 more years and then out, and then it'll be some other guy running for president. We'll make a decision then. Then we'll really get down to brass tacks and we'll vote. No. If you don't do the job this time around, there will be no choice next time. It just won't be. Now, the damage done in another 4 years will finish this country for good. You've heard it here. You've heard it, many people talk about it in broad strokes. I'm telling you specifically, this is it, November 6, 2012. Within the next 6 months, we must decide the direction of the country. Now, how do we do that? Well, for starters, we, the people, must demand the truth. We, the people, must be able to tell the difference between truth and lies, truth and propaganda. We must demand Mitt Romney to deliver this truth and not a politic, capital P. Now, you all know that I started this show along with my good friend Mike Horn on the premise that you think for yourself, you use common sense and reason, you think for yourself, you do not turn your thinking capacity, whatever that is, whatever wattage your bulb is, you never turn that decision over to a politic and let a politic drive your behavior and drive your life. We cannot have a statue working for the RNC telling us once again he is going to lower our taxes, create jobs, put America back to work. That insulting GOP talking points has been used on us before. The boilerplate crap, the filler, speech filler that these politicians, that these Republicans have used on us is an excuse for not having anything to say and for ducking their responsibility. We, the people, must think for ourselves. Put forth the challenge to Mitt so Mitt can challenge Barry. I call him Muhammad Atta because I believe he is worse than Muhammad Atta. I believe that Muhammad Atta, the first moron that drove the Flight 11 into the North Tower on September of 11th, 2001. What they did is is recorded in history. What Barack Obama is doing and is about ready to do in his second term will top that. Now, Mitt must open Barry up like a can of corn and drag his Marxist agenda out into the sunlight. Contrast Eurosocialism to American capitalism. Yes, capitalism. That's right. Don't be afraid to say it. That's our system of government. I mean, that's our system of how we do business here in America. We don't have government do it for us. We do it by individual greatness. It creates capitalism. It creates wealth. It puts people at risk, and people at risk are that's the spirit of America. Being at risk, and you gain the rewards of being at risk. Now, there's tons of examples just laying around here in America. It's like the leaves in Central Park in November. There are a lot of them. Even a moron from Yale could figure out the contrast between Eurosocialism and American capitalism. Educate the youth that is painfully writhing on the ground from the university abuse. The Occupy mentality. You go to school for 4 years and learn how to show up at a place and grab a sandwich and a megaphone and start crapping in public and sitting around occupying. Believe in something and you're a hero because you've occupied something. That gives you a great wealth in life. Now, John McCain had this responsibility 3 years ago. It's not that long ago. He and the GOP purposely ignored it. Now, I'll discuss later on in another show about John McCain, Republicanism, conservatism, left of center conservatism, and why he blew the election that he could have won 3 years ago. We'll talk about that later on in another show. It's very interesting. We have 6 months, folks, to be together to do all this. Now, we are here, wound up where we are as a country, for a myriad of reasons, to be sure. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of truths we have to sit down and unspool together. Way too many to go into right now, but we are desperate. But we need a leader to tell us the truth, and John McCain lied to us. Now, what happened to his character and his wisdom that he displayed so beautifully in Vietnam for all those years is anybody's guess. But his degousing by the Republican Party was a disgrace. It lives in my memory. It is one of the main elements that is amazing to me, that a guy could go through what he went through and yet go belly up when we needed him the most. Every time I see him or see him flap his jaw on TV, I think of the word maverick. I'm a maverick. We're all mavericks. And believe me, I'm a maverick. Vote for me because I'm a maverick. I love the movie Maverick, and I knew Maverick, and I watched Maverick. I'm a maverick. I scream at this jackass for doing this. There's absolutely no leadership. That's why I'm angry. We have 6 months to find out if Mitt Romney has it in him to lead. Does he have it or does he not have it? Or is he just another maverick? We're going to find that out. We're going to realize that we either have a candidate here pretty soon that is going to tell the truth, stand up, and tell the GOP and their agenda to take a back seat and stand up like Ronald Reagan did in 1979 and 1980 and tell people the truth and make us believe it. He has to believe it. He can't be a nervous car salesman, folks. If he does, we're finished.